So, Gemara, Elam Miseifa. So we've left it off is that we're trying to find a source for Rava saying begittin enokain. So again, just in the Rashi, alafikach koi ein tainus onis begittin. If you tainus onis begittin, it doesn't help. Elam Miseifa. Miachshavim lo basi mekan ve'ed yod bes chodesh. So I am leaving now. So if from any point now, if I don't come for the next 12 months, then there's a get. And he dies b'toch shnai mesar chodesh. Hooray, say get. So if he dies between the 12 months, so that is a get. So you see that the mace who the mace the huadin l'chayla. So this is kind of like a raya which we had above. So we had that the mace davka is a get, but the someone is sick and wasn't able to come, therefore it's not a get. Since he's sick and not able to come, so therefore we see there's that the fact that he didn't come because of oines. So if he doesn't come, so it'll be a get, and he didn't come because of sickness. So huadin get v'huadin l'chayla, because this is what we're having above. We said meis davka v'huadin l'chayla. He's sick; it's still a get, even though he didn't come. He didn't come because he was sick. So therefore, even though he's oines, he can't tie oines in the get. So he should have come, and he wanted to come, but because he was sick, he didn't come. Since he was sick, he didn't come. So therefore, the get shouldn't chal. If he's gonna say I wanted to come but I couldn't, so he's oines. But it says there is a get and who din l'chayla. So dilma meis davka telo nichele tipo kamei yibum. So we have meis davka. It's only in the case of meis. Dilma meis gav elam sefer gamo rava de ein onis begittin. Hooray a get. V'afo gav de ein onis gadol mimisa. Even though meis is the biggest oines, alma ein onis begittin v'hu din l'chayla. So therefore, there's no onis begittin because of meis. So it's a good get. He was oines. That's why he didn't come. He wanted to come, but he died. And quite is the same thing. So Dilma meis davka the kol atzma shekatzav lo get machmas kain kasav. The whole reason that he wrote the whole get was only because of mace. So we're saying that the mace, is a get because that was his whole intention. His intention was to have a get chal even if I die because I don't want you to fall to yibum. But if I get sick, so then I don't want the get to chal because there's no yibum involved there. So the whole get was written only because of mace. She'im yamos yeh get lemafreya. So again here lemafreya. So it goes before the guy dies. Shalo tizok li yibum, so that the woman will not be forced to go to yibum. Ubahai anusa lo nichale lemibatel, and that onus he doesn't want to mevatel the get, the mevatel gita, because of the oinus of sickness. He doesn't want to mevatel the get. So davka the oinus of death he doesn't want. That's the whole point. Why did he write the get in the first place and do it in this way? Because if he dies, he wants her to have a get. Me'achshav lemafreya. So therefore, any other oinus achrina denichale levatel get bay, so that he can mevatel the get through another oinus ema lacha yesh oinus begittin. I'll say that there is oinus begittin, and therefore he if he was sick. So the case would be if he's sick and he wants to come and he says, look, I really wanted to come. It's not my fault I couldn't come, so it's not a good get. So therefore, that would be yesh oinus begittin, and Rava says there's no oinus begittin, so we can't find a source for Rava from this case. So now, hopefully the last case, Eila miha tahahu amar lohu. So rather from this case, that this is what he said to them. I lo asnia mikan va'ad talsin yomim lihavi get. So this is kind of flip of the other cases. That if I don't come from now until 30 days, it will be a good get. So if I stay away, it's a get. If I come, I'm a battle to get. Ata besof talasin yomim. He came at the end of 30 days. So he wants to mevatel the get. Upaska mavra. So Rashi says, Hanahar hafsiku. Shetiheha mu'uvered. The mu'uvered is the ferry, so that you have a river that is splitting, and it needs to get across the river into the town. And the ferry that goes from one side to the other, mitzad ir v'lo yechol la'avor. So it's the ferry's on the wrong side of the river, so therefore he can't come. So it's like the guy came, and the train was leaving. He was late for his train, but it said the train said he would leave at 2. He got there at 1:30, and the train had left already. So he's an oinus. He wasn't able. He did what he should have done or whatever. But he was an oinus in order to arrive. And again, if he arrives, then he cancels the get. So Pascha Maver, there's also some pshat in Pascha Maver means like the bridge fell down. So he gets to the river, the bridge fell down. He's like, I'm oinus. It's not my fault that I can't get there. Amar lahu chazidati chazidati. Look, so he's screaming on the other side of the river. Look, I came. But he never reached the city because the bridge is down, or he can't get over the river, so he never came. But he's saying, look, I came. So there's a gilei of his das, this rotzen. I want to be there. So therefore, he should be mevatel the get. Amar Shmuel lav shemei masia. So that's called not coming. So since it's called not coming, therefore, even the only reason he didn't come is because of oines, because the bridge was down. But Shmuel says it's not called he came. So therefore, we see there's no oines in begittin, and that's like Rava. That's what Rava was looking for. Chazu da'atai shabati, have a look to see that I came. Lo shemei matia v'have gita. So it's a get, because if he arrived, then the get would be bottled. The imratzda tinasela acher, and if she wants, then she can go marry whoever she wants, and even the kahula and nifselas mehayom, because the get is chal properly, and therefore she's possible from the kahuna. So Dilma, we reject and say Dilma anusa deshkiach shiny de kaven de iboy leila suye velo asni ihu de afsid anafshe. So we say, well, maybe it's a common oinus. So that having a train not run on time is a common oinus. So the fact that he had a common oinus that he got caught up in, kaven de iboy leila suye, he should have made a tanai. That if I come to the city, as long as the bridge is still standing, or as long as the river, the ferry is on the right timetable, so then that he should have made that tanai explicitly in the get. And since he didn't, since he didn't make that tanai, ihu de afsed and afshe, he screwed himself over. So really there's oinus begittin. Since there's oinus begittin, then if there was an oinus that happened that stopped him coming, he would be able to mevatel the get. He wants to come again. If he comes, he mevatels the get. He wants to come, but an oinus stops him coming. Since the oinus stops him coming, it cancels the get. However, here this is a special case where it's a common occurrence of which the timetable doesn't work, or that the bridge falls down, or that getting into the river because the river can stop you. So therefore, he should have made the tanai that this specific oinus is included in the get, and since he didn't, then he screwed himself over. So Toisves Dilma makes dafka to lo nichaleti po kamayibum. It's kind of the previous one, but it fits into this one. Perek misha oiches. You see in Gittin to amrinen achlo ari ein lanu. So the guy says, if I don't come, or if I die, whatever, or if it'll be a get, but then a lion ate him. And if the lion ate him, then the din is ein lanu. So perish ein lanu she a get. So we say that's not a good guess, even though he wasn't able to get there because the lion ate him. So therefore, why is that? He's going on the previous case that since he wants it to fall before Yibum, since he doesn't want his wife to become a Yavama, then why does the get not work if he gets eaten by a lion? So amai lo havi le get ha lo nicha letipo kemei Yibum. It's the same svara. V'yesh leimer de ba oines de lo shchiach klal lo asakadaita shirtza shiye get. That when he made the tanai, something that's absolutely unexpected completely, there he would never make the tanai in the get that's his opinion. So here, l'chayra, Tosis is learning that it's all about it's an umdina bedas, that when I give a get, what is the umdina of the das when I want this get to fall? So once I have that idea of when whatever falls into my umdina, so then that's how the get will fall. That's the pashut way to understand Tosfos, and therefore he gave the get, and even though he doesn't want her to fall into Yibum, since you're not going to say that he was thinking about being eaten by a lion because it's such a crazy case, so then the get won't lo asakadaita shiyirtza shiye get, so he won't think that'll be a get. So now the last case in our Gemara is that it's a common oinus. So Tosfos has a uncommon oinus, or an extreme oinus of being eaten by a lion. And he says there, if that happens, so then that's not part of the Tanai. In the case of a common oinus, where you miss the bus, so there the Gemara is saying that it's not a good get, that you really have to include that in your Tanai. So what exactly is going on in the Gemara? So what exactly is this oinus that the Gemara is talking about?
All right, Johnny, once more. So if you missed the bus, we said it is a good guess because you should have just been there earlier or whatever. But in the event that you get
no, it doesn't say you should have been there early. It says that you should have made that Tanai. You should have you knew about it, and it was a common oinus, and you knew about it. Therefore, you should have included it in your Tanai. Tosfos says if it's an extreme oinus, no one's thinking about that, and the lion eating you up, no one's thinking about that, so therefore that's not included at all. The whole idea of get, when you gave the get, this whole idea of dying through a lion is just ridiculous. I mean, if a guy, we were talking about Shechiv Meirah, he's on his deathbed, he knows he's going to die, he's expecting to die, so that's why he's giving the get, so he doesn't want it to fall. But to be eaten by a lion, that's ridiculous, so that was never part of the whole inclusion of his get, so therefore when he gave the get, thinking of being eaten by a lion was never the case. So therefore, what exactly is the Gemara talking about? Because if we just go the next line here, we say, Eila Rava Svara Denafshe Ka'amar. Rava, he made this up himself. So in the idea of that Rava does not have a source. Rava has no source, not in the Mishnahs, not in the Brises. So every Mishnah and Brisa and every Tana is holding Einsin Begittin. So let's get clear what Einsin Begittin means. That means if I say, this is the simplest case of the Shmuel's case, of where I say that if I don't come from now until 30 days, it's a good get. So I gave you your get, and if you never see me again, so then you have your get. If I turn up, the get is bottled. I try to turn up, and I'm not able to turn up because I'm sick, because whatever. So chala, if you're sick, it's called an oinus. That works to mivatal the get. So therefore, if the guy is oinus coming, I wanted to come, but I couldn't because I was oinus. So that's called yesh oinus begittin, and therefore I can make that claim, and I can mivatal the get, even though I didn't turn up, because I was oinus. So therefore, Rava's holding of yesh oinus begittin, and all the Mishnahs and all the Brises are holding yesh oinus begittin. And Rava has some type of takana, which we'll see, but Meikar Din and everyone before him is holding yesh oinus begittin. Now, we said by Tosfos says, by the case of a lion, ain ari begittin, whatever this case of this ari eating him, that's not in the get. And we said that the bridge falling down, that's not in the get. So what the hell is it? What's the Gemara talking about that yesh onis begittin? We've had all these oins and we're chucking them all out. So actually, in the next page of Tosfos, he actually lists three types of oinus. Oinus lo shkiach klal. That's the first oinus. So it's lo shkiach klal. That's like an ari eating you. So there, it doesn't work as a it's not included. Then we have oinus de shkiach. Onis Shech, Pascha, the Mavra doesn't work either, and then we have Onis Shech v'lo Shech. So this is really our Gemara. It says Shech and it's not Shech. So it's basically this middle case of Oinus. So if you have extreme Oinus, so then that was never in anyone's mind, and therefore that you can't make a claim of extreme Oinus begittin. And a claim of one is to shkiach, a common oinus, you can't make that claim either because you should have made that tonight explicitly in there. So just this idea of oines shchiach v'lo shchiach, so seemingly that would be getting sick. So that's the case of what the Gemara is talking about. That it's a shchiach and lo shchiach case. So there is oines begittin. Now, so therefore, now we can see that everybody's holding yesh oines begittin. Why is there oines begittin? And what would I think if I said that? So I gave the get to Amar Lahu. If I don't come from now until 30 days, this is a get. So the guy says, right, here's the get. If I don't see you again within the next 30 days, the get will chal and it'll be good. And the guy doesn't come because of oines. So would you say that it should be a get? You say it shouldn't be a get. Hitaka didn't turn up. He didn't turn up, but he was oines. So what's the pashtus? So Gemara is learning the pashtus. Is that yesh oines begittin. So, but why is that? So we will get into that if no one has any opinions. So Elaravasvara denafshe kamar. So he's saying a whole different reason as to why ein oines begittin. Because mi'ikaradin yesh oines begittin. Mishum tznius and mishum prutzis. So that there's really a takana of tznius and prutzis. So tznius are frommies, and prutzis are modern Orthodox. So mishum tznius di'amra lo lihavi get. So if we say to the tznius that it's not a get, so then zimnin de lo anis v'sar de anis. So sometimes he will take a bionis, the have a get, and it would be a good get. So sometimes zimnin de lo anis. So therefore it's a get. So the guy says, if I don't come in 30 days, it'll be a get. He didn't come. He didn't come in 30 days. But it wasn't because of an oinus. And she thinks that it's because of an oinus. And she says an oinus. Therefore, she has a good get, but she won't remarry. Why won't she remarry? Because she's chayshish, maybe it's a good get. She only eats bedats, and she ain't getting married unless she gets this confirmed with Adam or whatever. So therefore, zimnim de lo anis v'svara de anis. So sometimes there was no oinus, it's a get. She will think that he was oinus, and therefore it wasn't a get. Miyanka should become an aguna. V'yesef, and she will sit. So she will sit alone. Dilma honest. So Rashi says, Sisvara Dilma honest. Maybe he was honest. Ve'eno get. Maybe it's not a get. The te'agad lehina say. She'll be worried to remarry. So if you say that yesh oines begittin, she sits in her house, and there's no phone, there's no internet, and the guy never turns up. And she's like, she doesn't know whether the guy turned up or not. How's she going to remarry? Maybe he was honest. So therefore, because of the tznuos, therefore she won't remarry, and therefore Rava was, even though she has a good guess, Rava is metakin that for sure it's a good get. Even if he was oines, he's metakin to save the tznuos that it's a good get, even if he was oines. Umishom prutzes, because of the prutzes to I amra lo lihave gita. Because if you say it's not a good guess because of oines, simnim ta'anis, sometimes he'll have an anis, so he can't come because he was sick. Va'amra, and therefore it's not a good guess. And she says, there was no oines here at all. So she never had a guess, and so she's fully married to this guy, but she's a prutza and she wants to go play the field. So she'll say there was no oines here, and therefore the get's chal. Va'azla, and she'll go. Umenintzva, and she'll marry. V'nimsa get bottle. And there you'll see that the get, you'll find that the get she got was bottle. Therefore she's still married to A, even though she's gone and married to B. Nimsa bottle B, meaning that they'll find out, he'll come back and say that I was oines, and that oines therefore will bottle the get, and therefore all her children from the second guy are going to be mamzerim, and therefore Rava comes and saves the day, and because of the prutzis, then he is chal the get. So again, just to be clear here, that it's a good get. It's a good get deraisa. And Rava is saying, don't worry about it, I'm going to cancel the get. And you can go marry whoever you want. So they're mamzerim deraisa. And Rava says, no, I'm just going to I'm just going to mevatel the get. It's okay. I'll cancel the get. So the Gemara immediately asks, get. So according to the Deraisa, Nimsa get bottled. He was oines, and the get was bottled, so it's not a get. Umishum tnuas, umishum prutzus. I mean, really, the tnuas aren't included here. It's the prutzus. Sharina neshasish la alma. Are we going to permit a married woman to whoever wants? So Deraisa, she's a married woman, and Durabanan, we're going to allow her to marry whoever she wants. And the Gemara answers in called the Mekadosh at the Rabban Mekadosh, and they were hefker the Rabbanan, the kedushin from her. So this is a big sugya. Here is obviously a lead on to our sugya, but we're really have to get into what does it mean that they're mafkir the kedushin. That what does this mean? Kol Mekadosh at the Rabbanan Mekadosh. But our sugya here is in that the whole the takana of Rava is for the prutzis and the tznius, and everybody holds yesh oinus begittin. So Rashi now minsava is going on the prutzis, and when the guy will come and say that I was oines, you will nimsa the get bottle, and her children from the second guy mamzerim. Therefore, Rava says it's a get. So Toises here is svara da anis umena din lislan lamichash dilma anis who. So really mina din. So she the tsanua was choishesh for an oinus, and Toises is saying, well, maybe it's a good, maybe she has a good svara. Maybe taka he was oinus. Why shouldn't we be worried about this? Because he says mina din we shouldn't be worried. Maybe he was oinus. The ruban lo ansi, because most of the time you're not oinus. I mean, that's really what an oinus is. And again, we're restricting the oinus to a shkiach v'lo shkiach. It's not just any oinus. It's not a common oinus. It's not an uncommon oinus, a crazy extreme oinus. It's a middle oinus. So so we go bossa the roiv, and the roiv says that she was an oinus, and therefore she's been machmer on himself. Lahachi kari lahu tnuas. So she's called the tnuas. Shemachmirim. It's a chumrah she's taken on herself. So Taisus says mina din. There's no chashash. And they're the tznuas, they're machmir on themselves, even though she's able to marry. So she has the din. The psak din is you can marry. Psak din, go eat at that restaurant. It's there's someone with a black hat eating there. It must be kosher. It's you who are being machmir on yourself. The gabe perutzas lo garsin usvara, and by the perutzas doesn't say that's what she's holding. The lo anis. It doesn't say svara de lo anis. Eleva amra de lo anis. So that's our Girsava Amra de lo anis. So the Prutzis was just saying that. She doesn't really think that happened, because if she really thought that happened, then why is she a Prutzis? Perishafilo kushiyetza kol da anis, even when there goes out a call that he was oinus. Because Taisus is saying there's no reason to think that he was oinus. So therefore, what's wrong with this Prutzis? This Prutzis, the guy never turned up. She marries B. What's the problem? So Taisus says, it must be yotze kol that it was oinus. That's why she's a Prutzis. So Amra, so she says even against the call, the law on it. So a call comes out, and really now make her a din. You have to be boidik the call. She just says screw it. It wasn't the law on us. Or afilo kushateda he atzma da anis. So even when she knows that he was oinus, so she knows for some reason that he was oinus. But other people don't know, because if everyone knows, then the base won't let her get married, but no one else knows. And if you say that if he dies within 12 months, it'll also be a get. There's times when he doesn't mace, she'll think that he did die, and then she will become an aguna, and she will sit. The misa kala isle. So Tosis is saying by mace we should also be metakanes. And Toisus answers that we won't have the aguna problem because there's a call when somebody dies. But if someone's just oines, he misses the boat, or he's sick, there won't be a call if someone's sick, or if someone dies, so if he dies. So like I heard today that the singer of Alla Davita died, but if he was sick, I didn't hear about that. So they're playing his music again because he died. They don't play his music when he's sick, because there's a call when somebody dies, but there's no call when somebody is just sick. So we have to see now. The next Rashi is a key Rashi. Did midiraisa lo have a get? So it's not a get deraisa. Shemetzinu. So now he's going to explain why. So midiraisa is not a get because yesh onis begittin. So why midiraisa is not a get? The metzinu tainus oines minatayra. We see that there's a deraisa tainus of oines. So the guy didn't turn up. That's a deraisa taina. Shene'amar v'lenaira lo tasadavar. So what's the case? The case is that the naira, the woman, is ma'anes. She is getting forcibly entangled into a relationship. Now she is a naira muroses, and therefore she has kedushin, and she's not allowed to have relations with anybody else. And she's been forced into this relations with this other guy. So the Torah says v'lenaira lo tasadavar. So that this woman, she was oines in the davar, therefore we don't kill her for her act, even though she's having relations outside of the marriage. We should be killing her, but since she was oines b'davar, therefore we don't kill her. So Rashi learns this as therefore yesh oines begittin, because lenaira lo nasa davar, that to the lo tasa davar, that for the naira there's no din that she that you don't kill her. So the pashat of the pasuk would be that we don't punish her. But Rashi is learning this to all oinsin b'toiro, that lenaira lo tasa davar, there is a oines is potter for everything. So therefore, if something happened by oines, it's not attributable to you, and therefore, since I couldn't come because of oines, it's okay. The Torah recognizes my oines. It's not my fault. Lenaira lo tasadavar. So that's Rashi's pshat, basically in the whole sugya. Again, we touched on the Tosfos at the bottom here, that he says the ba'oines lo shkia kalal lo asakadaite. It doesn't come into the guy's mind. Tosfos seemingly is coming on to a different point here, lo asakadaite. Now, here we have this is the Gemara in Nadarim 27a. Nidre oinsin. What's a neder oines? A neder oines is that you make a neder. Hadiru chaveru sheyechol etzlo. He makes a neder that his friend will eat by him, and he gets sick. So the guy can't eat to him because he's by sick. So that's a neder oinsin. Hu or shechala beno or sheikav nahar hare ilu nidre oinsin. So I can't fulfill my neder because of an oines. So an oines happens, but I can't fulfill my neder. So what's the din? So hachu gaver ta'atpis zechuta bebeidina. So a guy, so he puts his zechus in the base din. It's like a shlish v'amar ilo atini ad tlasin somen libutlan. So if I don't basically pay you within 30 days, so therefore you can keep all the money or the money I've paid. Hani zechuta itnas v'lo ata. So he has libatul hani zechuta. So then you can get rid of the zechut. So the Rosh brought down in Shulchan Aruch. Basically, I pay half of the debt, and therefore it says that the debt I owe 100, I pay 50, and then the other 50 I say I'll pay within 30 days. And here's the star: if I don't pay the rest of the money within 30 days, so therefore I'll pay the whole thing, even though I only owe 50. So there's an oines for lo asa. There's oines, he never came. Amar Rav Huna bittul zechusos, because that's what he said. Amar le Rava oines uva oines rachmana patre dechtiv v'lenaira lo taset davar. So here, Rava is bringing the pasuk naira lo taset davar as a patur for oines. So even though in Beis Din he says I'm going to come or else this will happen, Rava says it doesn't really happen because he was oines, and the Torah says naira lo taset davar. So here the Gemara says v'kitem katala shiny. So we say that all that pasuk is really saying is that we're not going to kill the naira. You can't learn into other oinsin. Vatanan nidrei oinsin. Hadiru chaveru sheyechol eslo v'chalahu or shechala beno or sheyikav neder rei ilu nidrei oinsin. V'lerava mai shana mihad ditanan. Harei ze gitech miachshav and lo bati mikan ad yud beis chodesh umeis b'toch yud beis chodesh harei ze get. Amai he's an oines. Amri dilma shiny hasam. Di haviyada demis lo alter have gamar v'yahiv gita. So it goes on to ideas in which we have in our Gemara of mace, and he wants to get out of yibum. So now we have a key ran here. I have a key tema katla shiny, which is going on this idea of v'laira lo tased davar. So on Rava, we're saying that that it's different there. That pasuk's only talking about saving her from killing the naira. Klaimor, the b'makom katala ikatanis oines. All the pasuk is telling us, says the Ran, that in the place where we're going to kill someone, you can say oines. It said, don't kill me, because I didn't really do it. I was oines when I did it, therefore save my life. Abal b'midiachrini lo. But anything else, no. So obviously Rashi in our Gemara doesn't hold of this of El Midiachrini Lo, because he's learning that on the bittul of the get, that the oinus of L'nair Lo Tasadavar. Vatanan, Nidri Oinsin, V'chule Hare, Elo, Nidre Oinsin, Lefi, Shalo Ala, Alev Madir. So why are they Nidre Oinsin? So the Ran is going to give a completely different answer here. Lefi, Shalo Ala, Alev Madir Lahadiro, Im Yere Lo Kach. Because it's all about when somebody's making a tanai, when somebody's making a claim, when somebody's making a neder, what is his das when he's making that neder? Is his das that this is what's going to happen? So then, that's already included mi'ikara. So it never made, the madir never came on that the guy, he says, listen, I'm having a meal here on Thursday, you better be here or you'll never allowed come into my chutzner again. So he makes a neder in that way. So he's saying that because he wants his friend to come on Thursday. He never had intention that if the guy's sick or if the guy has to go here or whatever it is, all of a sudden he's not in the country for whatever happens or there's a war. No, that's not why he was making the neder. So that the das of the madir, the guy who's making the neder, was that he wants the guy to fulfill something and all these things of him getting sick and that type of stuff. That was never part of his intention when he was making the neder. So it's like included in his neder. Then when he says, I come on Thursday, and if you don't come on Thursday, then my everything, all my stuff is osir to you. That's obviously if it's possible for you to come on Thursday. That's already included. He never said it, but that's included in his das when he's making the neder. Therefore, it's already included. So therefore, hakanami gave matbis zechute neima de lo ala al daitoi. So also with the whole thing that when he made that claim, he was saying I'm going to be there in 30 days. Something happened to stop him being there in 30 days, but that was never in his mind when he made that claim. So therefore, included in his claim to be bottled the zechutz kol heicha de lo matzi lemisi, anywhere he tried to bring it. So the Ran's shita is that you have an oines. It's an umdana in the das of when you say something. So if we go back into our case in the Gemara, if I don't come from now until 30 days, it should be a get. He comes to this at the end of 30 days. So what's his das? His das is, see, the Gemara calls it oines the shchiach. So he knows that sometimes he's missed a bus before. He's been on the wrong side of the river before. He knows that these things happen. Therefore, part of his das is already included. But that he should get sick or that he should die, and this is what's going on here. That those oineses of being sick, that was already when he said, "If I don't come," it means, even though he didn't say it, is an umdin of his das that if he's sick, it means if he doesn't come, therefore it will still be a get. Because when I said if I don't come, it doesn't mean if I get sick and I don't. Because obviously when he's making the neder, he feels great. Then the guy feels sick and I can't do anything. So therefore, that's not what he wants to. That's not the time and the claim in which he wants to do. So we have a clear machlokas between the Ran and Rashi in our sugya as to how to learn it. How to learn is the yesh oines begittin. Is it because of lenair lo tasadavar, or is it because of an umdana of the madir of the guy who's giving the get, what his das is? So the kובץ שעורים, ubekir hadavar, the pasuk of l'ar lo tasadavar yalfinen, we learn out the lo mahani kima tanai ba'oines, that it doesn't matter that your tanai, it doesn't help the kima of the tanai when you're in oines. Tzarach bir needs an explanation. The Krog Gavi Oinchin Ketiv is talking about punishments. So therefore, how can I learn it out to gittin? The Ein Oinchin Esa Oinus. We don't punish the person who's oinus. Because again, our case in the Sukkim is that she's an oinus. Umay Shaykh Zeh Lahaka. And what's that got to do to hear? The Kiyam Hagirishan Ein Oinish. Yeah. So again, this is a debatable point. That if we say that it's a get or it's not a get, it's not a punishment. Is that a punishment if you stay married? But he says it's not an oynesh. Lehabal. B'tzarech leimer k'moshe kaseh b'shut chemdet shleimoi de mechana kroi al finan de meise hanase be'oynes eine nechsheves al ha'isa. So the Kobach Oirim is having he has a chiddush here. That the maisa that's done, the deed that's done, be'oynes eine nechsheves al ha'isa. It's not seen that the person that did it really did it. So if you do something be'oynes, it's called you didn't do it. The maisa anisa be'oynes eine nechshev al ha'isa. So you do something be'oynes, it's called you never did it. So that's why you do something be'oynes. So therefore, for example, if you flip the case, if you have the guy says if it's a good get if I don't come for 30 days, and then the friends of the wife want her divorced, so they go grab the Baal and bring the Baal into the city, then he makaimed his tanai ba'oines. So is it a good get now? Because if I don't come for 30 days, it's a good get. But so her friends want her to stay married, and then they carry him in to bottle the get. So is that good bottle the get, or is it a good get? Here, since he makaimed the tanai ba'oines, therefore it's called he never did it. Therefore he never came to the city, because he never came to the city. He was carried to the city against his will, Bal Korche. So therefore he did a ba'oines, and therefore according to this, he never came, and therefore it would still be a get. That the item was done by itself. So like there's no doer. The action was done, but not to the person that was doing it. So the Baal never comes. Someone came, but it wasn't the Baal. The heavy raya mihad shor hanevet ba'oines lo chashiv nevad v'kasher lemizbeach. So if a guy owns his own shore, if I bow down, if I make your cow a avodah zarah and I bow down to it, I can't make other people's stuff asur. However, I can make my own cow asur, and if I bow down to my own cow and make it a avodah zarah, then I asur it to the mizbeach. So the shaila is, what if a guy gets a gun to somebody and says, bow down to your own cow and make it a avodah zarah? And the guy does a avodah zarah on his own cow under the threat of death, under oynes. Is that called that the cow is now also to the mizbeach or not? So mehad shor nevad oynes lo chashiv nevad. It's not considered that it was worthwhile, because the fact that the guy did a avodah zarah on his cow, since he was doing oynes, he never did it. It was like Acher did it, because again, if Acher does a avodah zarah on the guy's cow, so then it's still kosher to the mizbeach. But if he himself does it, so therefore it's possible to mizbeach. But since he did it ba'oines, it's like Acher did it, and therefore it is lo chashiv ne'avod v'kosher lemizbeach. Al zeh yalef mehakra, and he learns it from this pasuk of v'nayir lo tasedavar. Therefore, it's not just for oinshin; it's for other stuff as well. Now, if we have a look in the Shulchan Aruch, mi shenishba or neder la'asot davar toch shana. So it takes a shavua or a neder to do something in a year or on a day. The yeshul lo soy miyad. He has to do it immediately, or b'shachris kashagia oitayom, or at least in the morning when that certain day comes. Shema yishkach acher kach v'lo yasenu. Maybe he'll forget later and he won't do it. V'yavor al nedru v'shavuso, and he will be over on his neder or on his shavua. Okay, so he takes a neder that, I'm going to do something in 30 days. So do it immediately. The guy makes a neder, he's going to learn a Mishnah, whatever it is. So do it immediately, says the Ramah. If he doesn't do it immediately, on the last day, do it in the Shachris, because maybe you're going to be over your neder. Ve'im lo asuhu miyad. If he doesn't do it immediately, ki amar adayin yeshli panai, I still have time, I still have space, I can leave it to the last minute. So therefore he left it to the last minute, he left it to the last day. Then he either forgot or he had an oynes on the last day and he never did it. Yeshom demikri oynes. There are those who say it's called an oynes, That's the Ran. So the Ran says that's called an oinus. Right, so is the case clear? You have 30 days to do something. You don't bother doing it for the first 29 days and say, yeah, I'll do it on the last day. Then on the last day, you either forget about it or you have an oinus, the guy gets sick and you can't do it on the last day. The Ran says that's called an oinus, but there are those who say that's not called oinus, chidushe aguda. So the aguda is an early rishon. I sent some information about the aguda before. So the aguda has a famous sheet on this area. So we have a machlokas as to whether oinus b'yom achron is called an oinus or not.
The only case of onus, because if there's no time frame, then a person could always.
No, but if he has 30 days, No, the question is like this: you have 30 days, and you could have done the first 29 days.
Right. And
then it's now day 30. Nothing happened. You were healthy. You were good. You could have done it every one of those 29 days. You could have done it on the 30th day. Now there's an oinus. Your guy gets sick. He has to go away. He has to go see his mother. The bridge fell down. Whatever the oinus is, he couldn't do it on the last day. So do you say that's not an oinus? You had 29 days to do. You could have done on those 29 days. You could have done it. You left it to the last day, and therefore this isn't an oinus. You left it the last day. It's not called an oinus.
But that's the only case we can be talking. That's the only case of onus, because if a person doesn't have a time frame or he did it without a
no, because if you're oinus, no, because let's say the guy made a 30. I'll do this in 30 days, then he gets sick for all 30 days, or he something happens for all those 30 days, so that he's oinus the whole time. Since he's oinus the whole time, so that is oinus. That's an oinus. It's an oinus in a shavua. It's not his fault. But here we have a specific case where and I'll give you, and I'm going to give you the Shulchan Aruch on the simple case of Nate's is 5 o'clock. When's Nate's today? Nate's Aldous Shachar 4:09. It's technically Bidi Eved, right? Bidi Eved, you can daven Shachar from 4:09, right? So Sov Zman Tefillah is like 10:15. So you have like from 4 a.m. to 10:15, and you have a minyan kavua at 9:30 that you go to, and whatever, there's no minyan at 9:30. One of your guys was sick or whatever it is, so you don't have a minyan, can't daven, or even deraisa, not davening with a minyan. Whatever oinus you want to bring up. Now you had since 4 o'clock in the morning. Are you called an oinus? Or you're not called an oinus. You could have davened an age. You could have davened out all this. You could have done all these different things. You decided I'm going to leave it right until the end, and then an oinus happened. Is that called an oinus? It's not called an oinus. Now the nafka mina would be if you can do a makeup tefillah or not. Again, that's the same story, but it's the same question. So if you were oinus the whole morning, so then that's called an oinus. But what we're asking is like this: is that you could have davened at 8:30. You didn't. You just decided not to, and you've left it till 9:30 to do it, and then something happened at 9:30, and you missed your 10:15 cutoff. Is that called an oinus, or that's not called an oinus? Now, in our Gemara, l'chayra, what's going on here? Our Gemara says, "Ahahu da'amar lahu." If I don't come from now until 30 days, it's going to be a get. He come at the end of 30 days. Upaska mavra amar lahu chazi da'ati. Shmuel says it's not called he came. Well, l'chayra, this is an oinus b'yom achron. This is an oinus. He had 30 days to come back. Oinus b'yom achron. So why here is this? L'chayra here it's an oinus b'yom achron. What would Shmuel say if it was day 28 or 29? Like he couldn't come. Is Shmuel saying that this isn't called an oinus? Maybe Shmuel's saying Taka that it's oinus begittin, but this is an oinus b'yom achron, and since it's an oinus b'yom achron, he should have come yesterday, and then you would have been able to catch a ferry. The ferries every 24 hours. You would have been good. So this is the question we're going to leave it with: is there what's the din of oinus b'yom achron?